Hey friends, it's time to cue the confetti because we're celebrating 1 year of the podcast today in the episode. Welcome to Feng Shui Living, a podcast for busy women looking to de-stress and live with more intention. I'm Lisa Morton, and I'm passionate about helping you create a home that not only inspires you, but empowers you. Years ago, I was severely struggling with my mental health and wellness, and while I'd implemented yoga, meditation, therapy, and more, I just could not find that missing piece of the puzzle. And that was until I explored my home. You see, the interior designer in me had made it beautiful, but it wasn't supporting me energetically. Fast forward, and I've now been in the interior design industry for 20 years, and I've devoted the past 10 years to Feng Shui and a holistic design approach. In this podcast, I'll be sharing with you interviews, stories, and knowledge, as well as some super easy, simple tips that you can take on today. If you're looking to be more intentional and create a life and home that you love, then you're in the right place. Hello, everyone. I'm just jumping out of my skin today. I can't believe we're at 1 year, 52 episodes of the podcast. I remember when I started thinking, oh my gosh, this is a lot. This is a lot to take on and do. But I was so excited, and I'm just so grateful for your support. Your support supports me, but also my team. I have an amazing team that supports me. And so to celebrate, I first of all want to thank them. First of all, my coach, Adam with influencer.tv. Adam is so amazing, and he's really that guy to hold your hand if you're running to start a podcast and you're not sure where to go, what to do. He breaks it down so easily. Thank you, Adam. My editor, Genesis, you are amazing. It's you know what I want, and how I want things done. Just you're on it. And I'm so happy and that we got connected. Also to my assistant, Maggie, you are make my every day just even more delightful having you support my business and support the podcast. And then lastly, I wanted to shout out a big thank you to my inspiration, Nikki Lanigan of Fit Fun Frazzled. I always mess that up. Fun, Fit, Frazzled, one of those combinations. She just really inspired me to do the podcast and was go for it. And so here I am. So thank you, everyone. There are so many other people that have supported me in the podcast, and I'm really grateful. I'm really, really grateful. I wanted to start the podcast because, for a couple of reasons. Because we'll say I initially went to school for communications prior to design school. And so this has been a really cool full circle moment for me to be able to share some of this. I also had this revelation maybe a year and a half ago that while I was working for a lot of clients and doing a lot of work, I know there were people I'm not reaching, right? I knew there were people that maybe couldn't afford a full consultation, and I get that. So I knew it was important to create something. So I really wanted to create some options on my website, some different classes with different pricing. But I wanted to create the podcast as an option for someone who maybe doesn't have the funds to invest in a full consultation, but they still need this help because it's so important. If you're struggling, let me know. We'll figure out some sort of payment option, some sort of plan, because not just wealthy people need to have balance in their life and in their space. Everyone needs and everyone deserves to have a space that they love, that they can call home, that makes them feel amazing. So thanks again. Today in the episode to celebrate, we're going to do a little Q&A. I thought it would be fun to answer a few questions today. If you guys ever have a question you want me to add into the episode, or you have a topic that you'd like me to cover, message me. Post it in the notes on YouTube, in the comments. You can message me on social media at Pure Living with Lisa Morton. You can go to my website, purelivingwithlisamorton.com. And I'll put links in the show notes to go there, and you can submit, you can email me if you have a question. You're like, Lisa, what does this mean? Or Lisa, you did a terrible job explaining this in the podcast. I don't know. Whatever, let me know because I'd love to answer your questions. So I have 3 questions that I recently grabbed from today, and one of them actually is pretty long. So all of them I kind of made the questions a little more concise, but from Kayla, she said, what exactly makes up poison arrows? There's a whole long description there, but what exactly makes up poison arrow? What is a poison arrow? So in Feng Shui, we have this concept of it's points coming towards your body, and they're called poison arrows. There are a couple other names for them, but it's really having these points come towards our body for an extended period of time, which can be incredibly harmful. We might have to sit with a point coming towards our body. I'm actually sitting with a point. The interface machine box here has a point kind of coming towards my body, but I'm not here for a really long time, so I'm not going to stress about it. However, in your bedroom, if you're laying in bed, is there a poison arrow coming towards your body? Wherever you're spending a lot of time, maybe your desk. So look around and look for these sharp points or angles coming towards your body. This could also just be something, here's a good example. It was a good friend who had an image, and it was a feather on a piece. It was like a painting with a feather, but the point of it and it was right behind the sofa, and it was like going through her head. That's an example of a poison arrow that sitting in front of that with that going through your head. It wasn't going through her head, but visually to other people, and the symbolism behind that was really interesting. But also just think about when you're sitting there, maybe at your kitchen table, and you look out and all the neighbors' roof lines are all coming right towards you. That can be a poison arrow too. Cactus. I complain about cactus, and I always tell you, I'm so sorry, but cactus are cool, but they're just not good feng shui, so I don't encourage them. And that is because they have so many poison arrows coming off, those sharp points in all directions. I won't ever forget one time I walked into my sister-in-law's house, and she always keeps it cute and everything, but at the entry, this was her old home, she had, in the foyer, she had a table, and then she had a photo of our two nieces, her daughters, and then right next to it a cactus. And let me tell you, it looked really cute, but the cactus, poison arrows, pointing towards the girl's image, I just couldn't handle it. I'm like, we have to move this. I'm so sorry. But she understood once I explained it. She was like, wow, that's really interesting. So look around for poison arrows, these sharp points coming towards your body, directed towards your body, for extended periods of time. And there's several remedies. One of my I'll share with you my favorite remedy is the crystal window prisms. So I do have some on my website on the Good G tab. Crystal window prisms, you can use them. You can hang them on the wall. You can hang them in the window, depending on what we're trying to soften of that poison arrow or deflect, okay? So that's a great remedy for poison arrows, okay? Thank you, Kayla, for your question. Number 2 is, I recently heard you talk about earth energies. What does this mean? And this is from Linda. Thanks for sending this in, Linda. I know we chatted briefly, but I'm excited to talk a little more. So when we talk about earth energies, we have energy that flows through our home, right? It comes in through the mouth of the front door, and it spreads throughout. But there's also energy around our home, under our home. That's why it's so important to look at the plot of land. It's not just the structure. Like, I will get on, Google Earth satellite images and look down at the plot of land. Look where the trees are. Look where the pond might be. That tells me information too, but it's also really interesting to look at that specific plot of land and also the history. Don't forget to research the history. I actually just worked on a home in Texas, and she was building this beautiful home where there was Native Americans were originally there, and I did some research, and they were known for cannibalism. So we had to do a few things to tweak that and honor the earth, really, and focus on, they were also known for their beautiful pottery. So I encouraged her to bring a piece of pottery into her space. So research the area around your home, the neighboring area, as well as your specific plot of land. It might be small, but it's still significant. You can also then learn more about energy lines that might be running beneath the earth, because there's tons of energy running beneath the earth. And that you can do that through dowsing with dowsing rods. Back in the day, they'd take the dowsing rods and they'd, try to find water. You can use dowsing rods. You can also do a pendulum. This is part of my basic consultation. I do dowsing with a pendulum to learn about the plot of land that you're on. Again, I do research and into the history because it's so important. You can make your structure beautiful, but if the land is not supporting it, and I personally have lived in a home where there was a lot going on energetically to the land. It was a new construction home, and this was before I learned about Feng Shui, but I knew then something's going on with this home. My husband and I, back when we were dating, we did not get along in this home, and we almost broke up a couple times. Like, it was bad. It was really bad, and I believe it was due to that home. Since we left, and this was years ago, but since we left, we kept it as a rental property. We've had a lot of rental properties, and this was actually our first rental property in that city. And we then proceeded to have, I think it was 3 other couples who lived there, and there were 2 divorces in that house. So if you're moving into a new home, this is also your cue to do some exploration into the history of the occupants, history of the home, history of the plot of land, and yeah, let me know if you need help with that. I do offer my free 15-minute discovery calls on my website, so you can go over and schedule that if you want to talk a little more about that. So there's a lot going on, not just in our structure, around our structure, down in the earth. And the third question for today is from Melissa. Why does the Bagua map get applied differently? I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. And again, Melissa, I'm sorry if I simplified that down. It was a long paragraph, so I just wanted a quick sentence. Why does the Bagua map get applied differently? I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Well, I'll say this to start out. Intention is so important. If you have the right intention, you're filling your body, your heart with just that right intention and fusing your home with that, then you're on the right path, okay? So don't stress about getting everything right. This is a perfect time actually to work with a professional, whether that's me or someone in your community or someone else you can work virtually online, because most of my work is online. So work with someone to set up the Bagua map just right, because once you get this information, then you'll be able to do so much more with your home. And I know you want to be really intentional with everything, and this will be great. So, but I wanted to demystify a little confusion about the Bagua map. So the Bagua map actually, interesting, it's applied differently in the Northern Hemisphere as it is in the Southern Hemisphere. So I interact a lot with a lot of people from Australia, and their Bagua map is applied differently. It's flipped around and upside down. Or it's flipped around. So we need to recognize that energy just moves in a different flow in the Southern Hemisphere. Also, the Bagua has, so Feng Shui began over 4,000 years ago. That's a really long time. And like with anything that's ancient, an ancient practice like that, it does morph and shift over time. They were living in huts on mountains and then, started living in communities. And then, then we're here today where I'm like on the internet using a microphone and electricity and all that. And it's shifted over time. There are so many schools, there are different schools and sects of Feng Shui that apply the Bagua perhaps differently. There is the compass school where they apply following a compass. There's so many different ways to do it. The result is always the same. It's balance, okay? And there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just the belief of how things shifted over time. People gravitated towards that, and then something else came new, and it's a new approach to doing it. In the end, I'm a big believer that we live in, while I want to honor that tradition of the ancient practice of Feng Shui, we do live in a Western world. And again, I'm talking to you with electricity and a computer. So we need to recognize that too. So I think that's very important. So actually what I practice is applying the bagua using a 3-gate method. It's a more kind of modernized approach to finding how the energy will flow throughout the home. So if you want to figure out how to apply your bagua, pop over to my website. I have the full Feng Shui consultation. I'll lay out the bagua. So you will send me your floor plan, whether that's an image, technical drawings from your architect or your builder, or just a hand sketch that you did, and then I will apply the bagua over top of that. You'll get a full report to show exactly how then you can keep this in the future. As your life changes, you might need to tweak different areas. It's not just a one and done thing, right? This is an ongoing. I know a lot of people that have their kids are going off to college this year. Their homes are going to shift. Their energy of their homes are going to shift with having less people, right? They're going to have rooms that are primarily empty most of the time. You know, we need to shift as things happen and change in our lives. That's so important. So any other questions with the bagua, Melissa, let me know. Well, friends, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is like the year episode. I want to know what you want to do going forward. What do you want? Do you want more interviews? Do you want more audits? Do you want more solo episodes? Just teaching you things? Do you want more interaction? Let me know. I'm actually in today's newsletter, I'm going to put a link in directly to my email. So please email me with anything cool you want to hear about, any topics, any ideas you have. And to top that off, I'm going to be giving away a free full Feng Shui consultation to one person. I'll put a link in the show notes and on the newsletter so you can enter to win that. It's a great way to celebrate. We'll celebrate together. So, you know, get out the champagne glasses, pop the cork with me, and celebrate, get the confetti. Thank you guys so much. If you have a moment, please take time to give me a great rating, 5 stars, an awesome review. Again, it supports not just me, but my entire team. So we would all appreciate it. You guys have a fantastic day. See you next time. Special thanks to our production company, Influencer.tv, the WELT 95.7 studios, and our sponsor, Good She. For more information, head over to the show notes. Be sure to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. I'll see you next time.